and how we can support you and the young people you care about to feel more confident about the decisions ahead of them. So, Skills Development Scotland is Scotland's national skills agency, and our mission, working very closely with partner organisations, is to help individuals and businesses across the country to develop and use their skills effectively. So basically, we want people to achieve the best possible outcomes. That's personally, but it's also for Scotland as a whole. Now, as part of this, we are responsible for delivering Scotland's career service. The service is universal, and that means that anyone of any age can come to us for free career information, advice, and guidance. And you'll find our professionally qualified careers advisors in every state secondary school in Scotland. But more than that, we work across a network of community venues, centres. You'll also find that we've got a range of resources and tools on the My World of Work website, and we also have a free phone helpline. We'll be able to give you some more details about all of this at the end of the session and also in the follow-up guide. Now, the session today is specifically focused on how to confidently support young people with options choices. It's probably helpful if we start explaining how we actually work in schools. And David, I don't know about you, but careers in schools looks a little bit different to when we were growing up. And did you maybe want to explain a bit about how we do things now?
Hi Karen, that is right. Career support has changed a lot since we were at school. Some of you may already have a sense of what SDS Careers Advisors do and what happens when the just young person meets us. But for some parents and carers, this is all new, and you may be pleasantly surprised by the support we can offer. As professionally qualified careers advisors, we're passionate about helping young people discover their strengths and make choices that feel right for them. We take a coaching approach, working at their pace and encouraging them to be actively involved in every step. Rather than simply telling them what to do, we help them explore their options and build the confidence to make informed decisions for themselves. We're here for young people from P7 to S1 and that transition all the way through, to their full school journey, and especially at key moments like this, like option choices. Whether it's through one-to-one chats, group sessions, or informal drop-ins, our goal is to make sure every young person feels supported and empowered. It's their entitlement, and we want to be there to support them. Together, we set achievable goals and help them develop strong career management skills that will serve them well now and in the future. We'll talk more about these skills as the session goes on this evening. When it comes to making option choices, we know this can be one of the first big decisions your young person faces at school. It might feel a bit daunting, but it's also an exciting opportunity for them to take charge of their future. As parents and carers, it's natural to feel a bit anxious about all the possible paths ahead, especially when you hear about the subjects and the option choices that might be unfamiliar. And please remember, you're not alone. We're here to support you both with information, advice, and guidance every step of the way. You play a vital role as a key influencer in your young person's career decisions. And tonight, we'll share advice and resources to help you feel confident in supporting them, not just now, but as they continue to grow. During option choice time, your young person can have a one-to-one conversation with their careers advisor, and they are welcome at drop-ins too. You're also invited to join these conversations. Just contact your young person's school to arrange this. And don't forget, their school is also there to help. Schools work really hard to ensure option choices offer a broad and balanced timetable, helping pupils develop the skills, the qualifications that they will need for a wide range of careers. Some subjects like maths and English are essential, but there's plenty of room to explore and find what suits each individual in the world of work. Karen, why don't we need to be aware about this changing world of work?
We all recognise that the world of work is changing. So we see the impact of technology on how we work, how we interact with each other. And actually this webinar today is a great example of this. And because of this advancement in technology, the nature of jobs can change and new opportunities, so maybe things we've not heard of just a few years before, are opening up. Now, this can be scary, it can be exciting, but it highlights the importance of young people developing the capacity to adapt and respond to these new opportunities, as well as realising the value of their transferable skills. Now, many of us will be familiar with career paths that were quite linear. So you would maybe build a career in a specific industry. Potentially you work for one employer for your whole career. Now, things look very different for this generation coming through schools. It's actually been suggested that young people of today will work in as many as 5 different career areas and potentially for up to 15 different employers. Now, that makes it increasingly important that they have the skills to navigate what is a constantly shifting landscape. So qualifications are important. There is no getting away from the fact that some of the choices they make today will have an impact on how easy it is to access future opportunities. But we also encourage them to recognise and to reflect on their meta skills. Now, these are the things that AI can't do. So being genuinely creative, thinking critically, collaborating with others. They're high-level skills that help us keep learning and adapting to changing environments. And at the heart of our approach at SDS, we focus on helping young people develop their career management skills. Now, these are the skills that help us navigate careers with confidence. And David, I'm going to hand over to you, because how do you explain career management skills when you're working with someone for the first time?
I think that's a really valid point, Karen, because for the very first time, we're introducing young people to the career management skills that they could start to learn from us in school. But we realise that they're not just for school, these are skills for life, and they're about helping young people figure out who they are, what they're good at, and ultimately where they want to go next. Here's how we try and break it down. We explore a bit more around the self, getting to know what makes that young person tick, their interests, their values, and what really matters to them. Then there's their strengths, discovering what they're awesome at and finding ways to build on those talents through new experiences. The horizons is another area where we explore and help them understand the different pathways and opportunities that are out there. There's more than one way to reach your goals. And then networks, connecting with people who can support you, give advice, and help these young people make things happen. But building these skills means your child will be ready to make smart choices about their future, whether it's picking subjects, applying for jobs, or deciding what comes next after school. The more confident they are in their career management skills, the easier it is to turn their ideas into action and make their ambitions a reality. As your child moves through school, they'll keep developing these skills. So when it's time to make those big or small decisions, they will be ready to take charge of their journey. Karen, can you maybe help us with tips towards taking charge of this subject decision a bit more?
Absolutely. So we mentioned a moment ago that making options choices might be one of the first big decisions that your young person will have to make. So for many, until now, life might have felt quite mapped out, and they'll have had to make a few choices, but the majority of their day has been decided for them. And now they're being asked to take more control. Now, again, this can be exciting and scary, but it's often a combination of the two. Now is a great time to start looking ahead and thinking about the opportunities that the decisions they make today could support them towards. So it's not about knowing exactly what career they want to do. It's about them picking a timetable that will give them the best chance of having a happy and enjoyable year. But it's also about choosing subjects that give them the chance of achieving the best possible results and that allow them to keep their opportunities open, which is particularly important if they haven't yet found a pathway that they're interested in. Now, thinking about their career management skills, what they're like, what they're good at, what's out there for them, and understanding who can help them can actually make the process a lot easier. So we're going to share with you now 5 key things that we highlight to young people to think about when they're considering their options choices. David, do you want to maybe start off with your first top tip?
Yeah, Karen, I think that's a key point. This first tip, which relates to the career management skill of self that I mentioned earlier, is for your young person to think about, I guess, what they enjoy doing now, both in and out of school. Option choices is the point where they can really start to focus on what they like to do and feel they will do well at. They are much more likely to be energised and passionate about things they enjoy. So it's really important that this translates into a timetable they're going to enjoy and they look forward to. When I'm speaking to pupils in school who are making their option choices, an important question I focus on is, what do you enjoy? Because you really can't go wrong if you're doing something you love. Something that can be really useful to do together at home is to have them make a list of their favourite things they do in and out of school and discuss what they enjoy most about them and why. Karen, can you let us know more about strengths and how they can help too?
Can do that. So the next top tip that we're going to give you relates to the career management skill of strengths, and that is discussing with your young person what they think they're good at. Now, saying what we're good at is not easy at any age, but if they can start to identify subjects they're getting good results in or positive feedback from, then that maybe opens the door to wider conversations about what makes them good in those areas. So are they excelling in practical work? Do they have a talent for analysis and problem solving? Maybe they're curious about how the world works. So thinking about the subjects they're good at and what makes them good at these subjects, the skills they're using and the skills they're continuing to develop can really help them start to pull these pieces of the jigsaw together. And this type of thinking not only supports options choices by giving them every chance of getting the best possible results, but it helps them start to make connections between their skills, their strengths, and future pathways. Now, many schools will offer the opportunity to discuss options choices with teachers and guidance staff before the options choice deadline. And this is actually a really great opportunity to get their insight into where they're observing areas of strength and potential. And in addition to that, pupils, parents and carers can always get support from the SDS Careers Advisor in school. So if working these strengths out is proving challenging or choosing between options just is not moving forward, we're always happy to have a conversation to help you find out more and to just see how we can help. So that's 2 top tips so far. What do they enjoy? What are they good at? David, what else do you encourage people to think about?
Thanks, Karen. This tip also relates to the career management skill of strengths. And remembering strengths is all about getting to know and understand what you're good at. It's about your skills and it's how to use them in different ways. Your young person could think about not only what they like to learn, but maybe how they like to learn. For example, they may enjoy languages because they get to talk and listen. Or they may enjoy art and design or science subjects because they get to be creative. There might also be some new options to consider too. Knowing how they like to learn can help them think about whether these new options would suit them. And then when they know how they like to learn, it can maybe help them think about whether these new options would be the right fit. Karen, could you maybe now share some more great tips to help you and this young person out there tonight?
Absolutely. So earlier in the session, we mentioned that parents and carers are seen by young people as a key influencer in their career decision making. And this is actually backed up by our annual study of young people's career ambitions. So in the most recent study, 79% of respondents identified you as being a significant influence, closely followed by other family members and friends. Now, that probably isn't surprising. I mean, you have close insight into what makes your young person tick. You probably recognise their skills and their strengths and their unique qualities, and you may actually see them in ways that go beyond their own understanding of who they are. So if they're not yet talking about their choices, why not explore ways you could open up the conversation? So maybe check in with them just to see how they're getting on. You could share resources and tools like My World of Work. Encourage them to speak openly with you about the things that they're thinking about, and also to other people they trust, like teachers, family members, friends, creating this safe space where they can explore their thinking and also maybe get some feedback on their ideas. It's a chance to help them bounce ideas back and forward with different people and ask questions and help them challenge preconceptions that they may have as well. So we hope that you actually enjoy your role in helping them explore all of their options. This broad range of perspectives can really help decision making and can help your young person feel confident in their final choices. But just remember to stress to them that they should do what they want to do. It's easy to get caught up in the opinions of others, so it's not what someone else wants them to do. Getting opinions and ideas from other people can obviously be really valuable and shine a new light on what they're thinking about different areas, but ultimately it's their final choice and it must be right for them and right for their future. So we're encouraging young people to think about their self, their strengths, and to use their networks to support confident decision making. David, I'm going to hand back to you for the final tip.
Fantastic, Karen. My final tip would be about exploring using this option choices tool. Knowing where the option choices tool can lead to in the future can help your young people understand the relationship between the subjects and future career paths. The option choice tool on My World of Work is a great place to start. You can input up to 8 option choices into that tool that will then link to a job and its profile and industries on the site. The job profiles provide information on different routes and pathways into the job and also the skills and qualities that are quite useful for it. But we don't want to be too specific too early, but we encourage them to be curious and for them to explore careers that maybe inspire them. Some of your young people will have career ideas and some won't. That's perfectly normal. Having a career idea is great, but it's still important to always be curious about different careers. Young people can change their ideas as they grow and develop. And this involves getting them to think about career ideas, but in a more general way. So I guess as an example, not really thinking that I want to be a marine engineer, but thinking I quite like engineering, and if I have maths and physics, what could I do with that? We support and encourage them to find out what qualifications and skills might be required to do certain careers, as well as thinking about what kind of work environments may interest them. By taking a mix of subjects across a range of disciplines, they can keep their options open. As we've said, the world of work is constantly changing, as well as the thoughts and ideas of young people. So it's important for them to keep the doors open. As they move into that senior phase of school, there may be new options available to study and many different routes and pathways for them to consider. This could include subjects that they haven't studied before and options including the foundation apprenticeships. This is something that your young person will look into in more time and in more detail in 4th year. Careers advisors and school staff will be there to support them and help them understand the different options available. Karen, can I ask you a question? Why should we not just take our word for it?
We have some amazing first-hand feedback. So we got some advice from pupils at St Joseph's Academy. I can't even say that, St Joseph's Academy in Kilmarnock. And they've actually been through the process. So rather than us continuing to talk, let's hear it from them. Let's hear it straight from the pupils.
Hey, I'm Orla from St Joseph's Academy in Kilmarnock. Come and see what a few of us have got to say about our option choices.
One piece of advice I would give to anybody choosing their option choices at any moment would probably be to not rush it and think it through and think about what you enjoy doing, what you're good at, but most importantly what you want to do after school.
I think as long as you follow with what you enjoy, you'll do well. When it comes to your exams, if you enjoy doing the subject, then you will enjoy studying it and you'll be able to then go on to do well in your exam.
If I had any advice to give, it would be to look into what kind of careers you want to do and what subjects are necessary, or if you're not sure, search up what careers you could do with the options you've already taken and see if there's any other subjects that are necessary to do any careers that you're interested in.
And my one piece of advice would be is not to pick what your friends choose and make sure you pick what you want to do while picking your options.
If I was to give a piece of advice to someone making their option choices, I would tell them to really think about the careers that they want to become and to really do a lot of research so they'll be knowledgeable on the subjects and the special requirements that they need.
At the start I didn't really have a plan for my future career, and then I decided to look at the subjects I've really enjoyed and decide my future career off of that.
I would say pick subjects you enjoy doing. It's more likely that you'll do well in them, and if you're like me and you're not too sure what you want to do with your future, it's likely that you'll follow the career path with subjects you're passionate about anyway.
Don't worry if you don't have a specific job in mind.
I would definitely take the things that you're the strongest at and that you enjoy the most, because you're a unique person with unique skills, and jobs are going to want you for that. If you play to your skills and you try your hardest, then nothing will go wrong, because what's meant for you will come to you.
And just to tell you, some of the information that the pupils were sharing was stuff that we couldn't say better. One of the key things that they were talking about was not choosing subjects because your friends are choosing them or because you like the teacher. This is something we come across every day as advisors in school. And the problem is that you're not always going to end up with that teacher, or your friends may not be in the same class. So it's something we really try to highlight to young people. The other thing that they were talking about was thinking ahead. So if you have got a career in mind that you're interested in, is actually thinking about the subjects that you might need. As an example, if you wanted to study medicine, you're going to need to get a certain set of hires by the end of S5. So if pupils do have a career path in mind, it's always good just to check and make sure that you are choosing subjects that are going to support you to get what you need by that deadline. David?
Karen, I think you caught that really well, and I can only echo that. But I think the key thing here is, it's highly recommended that you speak to other people, the parents, the teachers, the careers advisors. We're all here to help develop good ways of looking forward and planning for that future. Do not be afraid to ask for help. As advisors in school, we teach the young people about this career management skill set, and that is needed to take charge of their future planning.
We're going to have a quick look around this system. I'm a bit of a geek. This is one of my favourite tools to use with young people. So you'll find this on My World of Work. And the way I tend to go into it is via skills and tools. And if you click on that into tools and quizzes, and then going down into options choices. So that's how I tend to get into it. And when you get into this, you'll find you've got two options. So we've got find careers related to your school subjects. Now, this is a great option if you've got a young person who just isn't sure. Maybe they've got lots of ideas. Maybe they've got one idea and you're a bit worried they're not thinking broadly enough. So that's what that one's for. This one here is if young people have a career in mind and they really want to focus on what they might need for that career. So let's start off with the one where we're looking for careers related to specific subjects. So I'm going to click on this. Now you can actually put in up to 8 subjects, and it's great because, if you're speaking to a young person saying, what are your favourite subjects? And they're telling you, well, let's go for modern studies. And I'm also going to go for, how about care? I'm going to go for something a bit different there. So we're going to go for care. And it's come up with 100 profile matches. Now, this list of jobs, I always say to young people, some of these you'll look at and you'll think, yes. Some you'll look at and you'll think, maybe. I don't maybe know enough about that. And some of them you might think, no. But if you can start to build this into little piles of where your interests lie, it helps you focus. You can also see at the side here, you can filter by job categories, which is great. So if you know that you're kind of interested in doing something, I don't know, say that we're interested in doing something with sport, we can find out jobs where these qualifications can be helpful. And what you'll see here is it highlights, so I'm just moving my cursor over it, highlights where the subject matches. So these ones I've just pulled up, they match with the interest in care, but not necessarily modern studies. But what we're also seeing is it's recommending other subjects that could be really helpful for that young person to take. And then if we want to find a bit more out about this, so we're interested, we think, yeah, I like the sound of that, social work. Click on View Job Profile, and we'll see that we've got loads of different information. So we've got information here about average salaries. We've got a little video here for career insights for someone who's in that role. That can make that really accessible. And also when we go down, we've got more information about what it's actually like, the sort of things you'd be doing. And then for those that want to dive a bit deeper, there's normally links to really good sources of information that you can take further and explore. I always think this is really useful as well. So if you're thinking about the pathways into becoming a social worker, we actually have a database that links to college courses, to degrees, and you can get into a bit more detail about what specific colleges and universities might be looking for if you were following this particular pathway. And if we go back up to the top, I'm just going to share a little bit more information. So we've got skills. Now, we talked earlier about meta skills and transferable skills. Great opportunity for them to think whether these actually tie in with the skills that they already have. And the final button here, getting in, that just gives us a bit more information about qualifications. So useful subjects. I always say to the pupils, you don't need to take all of these, but it's kind of the sort of areas you should be thinking in. And qualifications. So this tells you about, can you get in via university? Is it a college course? Is it an apprenticeship? Or are there multiple different routes that could lead you to this one opportunity? So fantastic tool. I use this all the time. And as I say, if you're interested, you can actually go in and look for a specific job if they have already got a career idea in place. So we will make sure that you've got the links for this. But My World of Work is a fantastic resource. We've got loads of great tools in here. We actually have an area for parents and carers. So if I click on this section here, so this is specific information to help you feel confident about how you support the young person in your life. And there it is in a nutshell. So that is My World of Work and the Options Choice tool.